primary ICT curriculum was first drafted almost 10 years ago, it little anticipated that children as young as 4 and 5 would be using the internet. Consequently, many local authorities are now developing their own e-safety teaching within the curriculum. At Christchurch Primary School in Bristol, Sarah Gadsby is introducing the basics of e-safety to her Year 1 pupils.
We are learning to look after our special information.
Head teacher Simon Botton is getting his Year 6 pupils to think critically about information that they find on the internet.
Give it a mark out of 10 next to each one if you think it's something you're going to use. Go!
Further information about both of the lessons featured can be found on this programme's page on the Teachers TV website. During this programme, e-safety advisor David Wright will contribute his thoughts on how best to develop an understanding of e-safety with primary pupils.
Right, children.
Sarah Gadsby finds that even in Year 1, her pupils are already familiar with the internet.
A few of them have been in chat rooms and things like that because they see older siblings doing that. They know how to be safe a lot better in the outside world, but being safe on the internet is something that up until now has not been taught so explicitly. So it's something that we're trying to bring to the forefront, really. We are learning to...
Whilst they technically are very, very capable, the development of their emotional side hasn't yet caught up, and so it is vitally important to sort of help them through that, to get them to understand what the risks are.
So everyone stand up. Well done. Okay. This game will go a little something like this. The first game that we did was a game involving the children listening to my instruction and grouping themselves. Oh, we're a big group, aren't we? We've all got 2 feet, haven't we? So everybody was in the same group. As we went through the game, it whittled it down until we said who's got the same first and last name as you, whereby everyone was stood on their own. Is anyone in a team with anyone else? Are any of you with a partner?
No.
No. By the end, the symbol of standing by themselves was very clearly conveyed, the idea that actually I am special. There is no one else who has the same information as me. We're going to watch a cartoon in a minute. We're going to find a little bit out about sharing information, so things about you that are special.
Sarah then shows the class an episode of Hector's World, an animation tackling e-safety, available free to schools from the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre.
You don't teach someone to drive by showing them pictures of a car crash. And so it needs to be introduced in a very sensitive and a very subtle manner, so that they can understand, act responsibly, and to know how to get the most out of the internet.
Maybe it's not such a good idea putting down all that stuff.
Remember Ranjit?
Yeah!
Ranjit was going to share some of his personal details, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Can anyone remember? What were some of the things he was going to share?
How he uses his computer. School.
His school, yes. What school he went to. When they understand that if you tell someone your school, then they may be able to come to your school and see you and find you. So from that point of view, they understand how on the internet you're not a separate person to in the real world. You are actually, people can join up the dots. Right, I've got 2 hoops here.
Following the animation, Sarah gets her pupils to think about the types of people that they should and shouldn't share information with.
Can I share personal information about where I live, what my name is, with my doctor? Put your hand up if you think yes. Billy, would you please come and put this either in the yes I can or no I cannot share special information with him. Yes, we can share special information with him. Oh, now, what about this man? This man with some sweets. Can I trust him with my information?
No.
Why not?
He would tell anyone else.
He might tell anyone else. If you don't know somebody, they could be smiling, they could be frowning. You don't know them at the end of the day. Quite a few children found that a bit difficult initially to come to terms with. It's the same in the real world as it is on the internet. When you're on the computer, how are you going to make sure you don't tell your special information?
You could, like, type your number to, like, your friends. Yeah, like...
By the end, I think the children were very clear about who you can trust and who you can't trust. We then made the link again to the internet and how on the internet you don't actually know who you're talking to, so you shouldn't share information. They understand that if you were to give your address to somebody who you don't know on the internet, they could come to your house. I think a few of them have been talking about somebody could come and burgle your house if they knew your address from the internet.
You tell someone you don't know, and they will tell a burglar, and then they can sneak, and then they can sneak in. And
Teaching e-safety at this age can provide the foundation for developing a broader digital literacy further up the school.
Digital literacy, I think, does go beyond e-safety. So if we talk in terms of understanding sources or source of information is a good example. So making sure that you check sources, you understand that that presentation of information is often is perhaps misleading.
Can we all read this after 3? 1, 2, 3. We are learning to check the accuracy of website information. Right, before we do that, we're going to think back.
Head teacher Simon Botton is getting his Year 6 pupils to think critically about how they search the internet.
Yes. What can we do to decide which of these is a useful website? What test can we do?
We were finding children spend an awful lot of time wasted by just clicking wildly on different websites, not really thinking about what they're useful.
Apply the task test, give it a mark out of 10 next to each one if you think it's something you're going to use. Go.
The task action we use, that's really to get them to pass the first initial search. The T stands for title. Does the title look useful to me? The A stands for author. Can I tell who's written this? Can I just from that determine whether this is a trustworthy source or not? S is for, in the summary, does it actually say to me, this sounds useful? And K, is it written for children? Is it something I can actually understand the comprehension of the reading of?
I think about 3 out of 10 because that's about myths.
OK, time up, people. All about explorers, everything you've ever wanted to know about explorers. Does the title sound useful? Yeah, OK. Author, can we tell who the author is from that?
No. Comfort with technology, there is no question, as they are particularly capable, very technically able, but can they critically assess what's actually been presented to them is a very relevant question.
Yeah, I'm going to give that one that must be an 8 or a 9, I'd have thought. Let's give that 8 out of 10. What did the rest of us give it? Have you had if you gave it an 8 or a 9, or Genevieve?
we put 4 out of 10.
Wow, I'm being too generous by looks of things.
5 out of 10 because if it says everything I want to know about it, it's not going to say every single thing.
OK, so maybe it's promising too much. OK, that's a good point, that. I hadn't thought of that. Put your hand up if you can tell me how I can cross-reference to check whether this information on this website is actually factually true or not.
If you look at different websites, if they all say the same thing, then it might be true.
What we're going to do then, in front of you, you've got a piece of paper which says, check or validate information on the All About Explorers website by cross-referencing it with one, or if you're feeling clever, 2 websites. It might be Wikipedia, it might be something else. I'm going to leave that to you. OK, so quite a lot to do.
You have to find out about this explorer called John Cabot, and we have to find out when and where was John Cabot born, how many sons did he have, and when did Cabot die.
We found out that John Cabot was born in Liverpool in 1905, and he had 11 children.
It seems that some websites are offering conflicting facts about the explorer John Cabot.
It says he was an Italian explorer who attempted to find Alaska
So how are the pupils going to decide what to believe?
You could check one website and it could say like Cabot was born in like 1405, and then one website could say Cabot was born in like 1945, and then we'd have to check like a third. And if one of them said Cabot was born in 1405, we'd go with that one more than we went with the 1941.
We're going to read through this John Cabot page from All About Explorers to start with. I'll read it through. Put your hand up if you think you know the answer to one of the questions if it appears on here. One might wonder what John Cabot and Christopher Columbus have in common. Both were born in Liverpool, England. Cabot was born in 1405.
On the Zuma Explorer website, it says that he was born in Italy and 1450.
So we've got two different answers there. Did anyone find a third website?
We went to BBC website and we found out that he was actually born in 1450 and he was an Italian.
Several different websites seem to contradict the information given by the All About Explorers website. Further reading suggests that it might not be a reliable source.
At this time, he also introduced his half-brother. It was also introduced to his half-brother Richard, whom the family always called Ringo, to his best friends John, Paul and George. They spent the rest of their lives as a troupe of travelling minstrels. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this website.
It's set up for teachers to use as a demonstration of how the internet sometimes cannot give you correct information. And it was, as you saw, it was quite wild things about, Cabot handing out CDs and having the Beatles as his brothers. So the children started to pick up on that. It was interesting, they actually picked up from the facts rather than the silly stuff.
He was born in 1405, and then it says 1947.
What's wrong with that?
That means he's 500 years old.
Yeah, he's a very old explorer.
In 5-10 years' time, the volume of information on the internet is going to far outweigh what we even have today by a long way. And so the ability to be able to critically assess what it is that you're trying to find or information that's being presented to you will become a key skill.
This afternoon, I didn't really want you to find out about explorers. That wasn't the important part of the lesson. What was the important part are the skills you were learning in order to be able to research effectively. What tips would you give a child in year 3 or 4? 5 tips for making sure they could find information accurately and check that information was correct.
Check several other websites, see if it's the same, find out who the author is.
Remember to turn it off if it's inappropriate.
Remember to turn it off if it's inappropriate, absolutely. I'm really impressed with that.
Cross-referencing.
We haven't up to now actually shown children how to do research on the internet and how to be discerning in their internet searches. So there's a difference between actually physically be able to get onto a website and actually be able to make some purposeful use of the information inside that. It is part of internet awareness and getting the children to use it as a valuable learning tool.
For more information on e-safety, remember to visit the Teachers TV website.